Thank you for coming. This is a photographic backdrop. It's a single roll of paper that, as you can see, extends down and then curves around and comes out, forming a kind of floor surface as well as a background. And if you look here, you can see there's no edge, there's no curve. It's what's called an infinity curve. And that is very useful when taking photographs of people because you kind of can present them in isolation, which is very useful if you want to just focus on them, or if you need to chop them out, for example, using Photoshop or something, and stick them against a different background. What else? This is a camera. It's linked via a live feed to a projector there, and that projector is then shining onto the backdrop. This is a desk, or a table. It's not really significant. This is a chair. This is a light box, photographic light box. Animators use them. And the camera is focused onto the light box, which has a piece of paper on top of it. And you can see my hand, which you shouldn't, actually. And the camera is focused onto that. What else? You're some people. So am I. Good. What else? You're some people. So am I. Good. When it comes down to it, so am I. Good. When it comes down to it, this isn't about my dad. But I'd still like to describe him for you before we start. He's about this tall, but he's much broader than me. He's quite stocky, and he's got kind of silvery grey hair. He's getting on a bit now, but he's 57. And he looks like this. This is my dad applauding Jon Snow at the end of Channel 4 News. Well done, Jon. Well done. As for me, I'm 5'10" or 5'11" if I'm trying to impress you. I weigh around 12 stone. It fluctuates a little bit depending on how much cycling I'm doing. And I've got a tattoo of a swallow in a sort of greeny blue colour on my right wrist. I wanted light grey, but the ink wouldn't have stayed. I've had it for about 2 years. There's a photograph of my dad when he... all of this is true. There's a photograph of my dad taken when he was about my age. I'd like to show it to you, but I don't have it. So instead, I'm going to have to draw it. There he is, more or less. This photograph was taken in the pub, a pub that he used to go to all the time with his friends. They were a really close group. He was the earnest one. He was the earnest one. He was the earnest one. I mean, sharp. You know, not a pusher, but not weak. But you wouldn't take the piss for fear of the look in his eyes as he tried to play along. Right about now, they're starting to get married. They're all starting to get married, have kids. and drift off slowly into their own lives. And those lives are becoming less about what's possible and more about what's achievable. I can identify with all of that. Oh, actually, it might have been taken at his sister's on her birthday, in fact, but it's hard to tell. The background's pretty ambiguous. In any case, I often look at this picture and wonder what he's thinking. I was not even on the horizon. I could be thinking about my mum. They were married already. Maybe about selling his car. His shoes are hurting. His older brother owes him money. Led Zeppelin are brilliant. I miss the smell of mothballs. Heavenly Father, hear my prayer. Might play golf tomorrow. Nothing at all. I find it hard to be certain of things. When I was about 12, nearly 13 actually, I moved schools. It doesn't matter why. And shortly afterwards, I started telling lies. The first one was about sex. At my previous school, there'd been a girl called Abigail. She was really pretty, and I was in love with her in a straightforward kind of way. I used to fantasize that life would somehow throw us together, like she'd happen to walk past the football pitch as I put an amazing backflipping bicycle kick in the top left-hand corner, or something tragic would happen to her, like her mum would die, and I'd be the only one who understood, and I'd look after her, and as I was looking after her, she'd see me for who I was, and she'd fall in love with me. Or there'd be an earthquake that would level the school, and I'd pull her from the wreckage with superhuman strength, and we'd be the only survivors, and we'd fuck amongst the rubble and abandoned rucksacks. All of these fantasies were quite hard to sustain in the face of her ridicule and hostility. You know the story. Anyway, at my new school, things were going better. I was socially acceptable, which was amazing. I felt kind of flushed with it. I felt they expected me to be experienced in life. I can't remember how it happened exactly. I think I was in the common room at break time, and I was standing by the window, and I was talking to Johnny there and Ben. Yeah, I had a girlfriend, yeah. Yeah, two actually, yeah. They were really, really hot, yeah. Actually, Abigail, Abby and I were still trying to make a go of it. Yeah, long distance, about 17 miles. Yeah, it was hard, but it was worth it. Actually, she was coming over that weekend. Yeah, to stay. Yeah. Johnny said, he thought we'd probably play Scrabble. I said, yeah, strip Scrabble. And the rumour spread, as rumours do. And before long, everyone was talking about it. By Friday, the place was buzzing with interest. This strange, mysterious new boy who seemed to have a sex life already. Everyone was looking at me. I kept getting excited and then remembering that nothing was actually going to happen. On the Saturday, I played Warhammer 40,000 with my friend Jake and kicked his arse. It was a massacre. It was brilliant. And then on Sunday, I think we probably went to our neighbours for lunch. We usually did, or they came to us, either way. And then I would have done my homework and read. I was going through a big Stephen King phase at the time. It was only on the way back into school on the Monday that I remembered the lie. And it felt like a weight, suddenly, in my arms and legs. The common room was all expectant faces. you should act if you just had a weekend of carnal bliss. Before long, someone started asking for proof. Now, the sensible thing would have been to say there wasn't any. But it was rude to ask, in fact. That would have seemed pretty grown up, actually, to get cross about that. Or, I suppose, I mean, it wouldn't have been convincing, but I could have forged a letter, with barely concealed innuendos, with hearts over the eyes. Instead, I said I'd taken photos. Where were these photos? They quite reasonably asked. I'd given them to my Uncle James, who I, quote-unquote, trusted to have them developed without telling my parents, or presumably without being arrested. And he never seemed to get around to giving them back to me, so I was never in a position to prove the whole thing. And before long, I wasn't the interesting new kid who was good at rugby, or the mysterious new kid who seemed to have a sex life already. I was the weird kid who made stuff up. Hello. What are you up to?